What's up, everybody? Reese here, Tampa Bay Jeep Club. Came out to the Herman and Wells law firm office today. We're going to talk to Cliff, which is one of the partners here. Herman and Wells is one of our biggest partners for the club that allow us to do so many cool things in the community with events and education, raffle items, all kind of cool stuff to make sure that we're giving back as much as we're putting into it. So we're going to sit down with Cliff today, that is also a Jeeper, talk about a little bit about him personally, but also how the law firm itself can actually help those in need in our community and some of the charitable impacts that they've made over the years. So stay tuned. We're gonna sit down here in just a minute. All right, so I'm here with Cliff Wells. We're at the Herman and Wells Law Firm, one of our partners for 2025, and Jeep enthusiasts. So we got a lot we're gonna cover, but I just want to spend a little time with you today, Cliff. I appreciate you letting me come into the spread.
Of course.
Awesome. As we're shooting this video, it's sub-zero temperatures is what it feels like outside. So we were gonna walk around a little bit more, but we decided to come inside. So number one, just want to say thank you for the incredible partnership that Herman and Wells Law Firm has had with Tampa Bay Jeep Club. It's allowed us to do some amazing events, a lot of charitable work. It's just something that we couldn't have dreamed to make happen for the community, and you guys brought that to life. So thank y'all so much.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks for letting us be involved.
Yep, and I know you're a Jeeper. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. There's a couple sets of 40s out in the parking lot that we're gonna go look at here. But first, tell me, how did you, start way back. How did you get into becoming a lawyer and wanting to go down this path?
So my undergrad was in occupational safety and
Okay.
health. And so there's just a lot of law involved in that because it's all about keeping people safe and whatnot. And then at the end of, before that actually, when we go really far back, right out of high school, I was in the Army. I joined the reserves. I was a flight engineer on Chinooks. And then I was gone for a year, and then I was in the reserves throughout undergrad and my first year of law school. Undergrad introduced me a little more to law, and I got introduced a little more through other friends and relatives of friends. I wound up going ahead and deciding making the leap and going to law school, and then finished that up first in Tulsa, then I transferred to the University of Missouri in Kansas City, finished up there. Then my first year out of law school, defended an oil refinery down in the Virgin Islands.
Interesting.
Then I decided I wanted to come back to the States, so I came back here and I've been here ever since. And I handle personal injury and wrongful death side. And my partner, Jason Herman, handles first party insurance work. So when people have to sue their insurance company, I'm sorry to say, sometimes that has to happen.
Yeah.
Some are great and some of them sometimes force you to do that. So, those.
What's interesting, and he skated over that, is the guy said, you know what, instead of staying in the Virgin Islands, I decided to come back to the United States. There's no person ever, what a rare breed to leave the island. So that's awesome. So what all do y'all practice here at Herman and Wells?
Okay, so I kind of manage the personal injury and wrongful death side of the practice. Jason Herman handles we call the first party insurance work. So it's people that call us up because they're in a fight with their insurance carriers and they need some help. Then we have two other practice areas. Alan Gustafson leads a new area where we handle defective construction. So when people around here get work done on their homes or whatever, buildings, sometimes that winds up in litigation. So he handles that. And last but not least, our good friend Bill Demas, who does disability law. So if you get hurt and it's somebody's fault, but you have disability insurance, that's what the universe where he swims.
Now on the property insurance side, as most of you know, we were impacted pretty heavily here with hurricanes, and I'm sure that the phones started ringing pretty solid after that. But there was two sides to that. As part of our partnership, which we really solidified, I think it was September, October, that actually gave us fuel to go out there and help our community with sweat equity. We were out there, helping people clean up their houses and everything. And then it was a direct, hey, if you've got a problem with your insurance, we said, hey, you should call Cliff and the Herman and Wells Law Firm. So it kind of went hand in hand. In an unfortunate situation, we had partners in our community that could help out. So, well, it was a tough time, but hopefully we're navigating all through that. So how did you get into the Jeep community side of it?
All right, so that goes back to high school. My first car I ever owned was a Jeep. It was a '82 Cherokee Laredo, one of those big ones.
Yep.
And then when I had
land
those,
yacht for real there.
For real, yes. And actually, I loved that truck. It was awesome. But then when I first got back from my training in the Army, my second Jeep was a CJ7. And then I had some overlap with a CJ5 that my grandpa and I worked on together. And then, let's see here, that I think was a YJ with the square headlights, then a JK, then a TJ, then my JT, which I have now. So this, I think, is my 7th.
So you're quite ingrained into it. In the blood. I will tell you, I went to Ron's Red Scorpion over in Tampa one day, and he had me moving some Jeeps around so he could work online.
Yeah, he did my
Oh, he did. Okay,
yes.
So there it is. So I had never driven a CJ, and it was a manual CJ he had over there. And just to move it from the garage out to the road, I was like, okay, gotta have one of these. So it's on my list.
The leaf springs.
Oh yeah. It was a whole different feeling.
Honestly, that's maybe since it's my first Wrangler style, that's probably my personal favorite, I think.
A soft spot for it?
Yeah. I love those CJs.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's just, there's just so much that comes out of the Jeep life in itself, all of the camaraderie that comes behind it. You don't pass any other car that waves at you all the time, so that's pretty nice. So let's switch back to the charitable side of things, because I know you got a soft heart for that just as much as you do for the Jeep community.
Yep.
So tell me about some of the initiatives that Herman and Wells has done over the years as far as the charitable aspect.
Well, sometimes we do donations, sometimes we've done beach cleanups, sometimes we've done going to events and sponsor those events. With you all, we've raised. I think we did the Toys for Tots. We've done some other things like that, and a lot of times that we've taken the Jeeps around to a lot of the retirement communities on Veterans Day and stuff, and it really just kind of makes you feel good. It's nothing wrong with going to a pub sometimes, which is great, but it's also nice when we can go actually do some stuff that helps the community, I think.
Yeah, and that's where I think there's a big gap between the big charitable organizations, like the Red Cross and what's the other, Feeding America, all of that. But to be able to do something locally, to your point, to go to somebody that's not necessarily writing them a check, but just giving back hugs and happiness, that's huge for what we're doing here. So I'm so glad that we're all on the same page with that. But all right, so talked a little bit about the law firm. Now we got to go talk about these Jeeps that are part of that. Because when I pulled in, there was already 2, so we got to go see what's going on.
So Jason, this time is not just set up the walls are right.
All right, so we came outside, 3 beautiful Jeeps out here, but we're going to talk about the JT first. So Cliff, tell us what all you got going on with this thing. This is one heck of a company vehicle.
Okay, so it's just a stock JT, and then I got the stock one because I knew I was going to wind up having to re-gear and change out the axle shafts and all that stuff anyway. So I went with a stock JT, I guess it's a sport, and then had Ron over at Red Scorpion go through and custom build the axles with gussets and trusses and the axle shafts. And,
so I can hold all the weight of these big old 40s.
And he put the Eaton lockers in and stuff like that. And then the 40s, needed those because, and because why else do we ever need anything?
Exactly. I'll take the biggest one that'll fit, please.
Right. And then I originally had those step rails on the side, which you're having the same problem with yours. I had to remove them because they were rubbing really bad. And then after that, it's just the lift, and I'm still working on it. So
this is the fun question. You haven't taken it off-road fully yet, right?
Right.
I hear you're going with this crazy group in March to this place called Windrock Park. How do you feel about that?
So I need to go take it off and have you guys let me try it out. I want to see if the steering is going to hold up before I get out there, because right now I still got the stock steering on it, and so I want to see if anything breaks, preferably before I get out there.
Shout out Apex Chassis. This guy needs new steering.
Okay. But
so you put the Eaton lockers on there too, so it didn't have those when you got it off?
no, this is not one of the some of it, if you get like one of the higher end, it comes with
like the Rubicon, yeah.
Right. But I figured since I was gonna have to rebuild everything anyway, regear it anyway. Yeah. I kind of figured I would just
do it all aftermarket. Yeah. So tell me about the name Alibi.
Oh well, the whole name is the is the airtight and suspiciously convenient alibi, and then people just call it the Alibi for short. So so yeah, I got that. My son and I read some sci-fi books, and that was the name of a ship, and I thought we both had a good laugh. So whenever we're hanging out in the Jeep, that's going to be our alibi.
Wow, then that'll be something that he'll always remember too.
Hopefully.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And then you got it branded Herman & Wells, so that way you're mobile anywhere. Everybody knows what you're doing.
Yeah, we had to do something like that. It was just kind of looking naked back there in the back.
Yeah. So what's the plans for it next?
I think next is going to be steering and then seeing and make sure the suspension is all going to be enough adequate lift and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so I'll let you and Danielle put it through the paces, and we can all see how it handles.
And now most of the time, because I see you've got the dual mirror set up, most of the time you ride with doors off, right?
Any chance I get.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to find those mirrors. Like the JTs, they don't, and I think some of the JL guys are having the same problems. Like when you take the doors completely off, you have no side mirrors.
Right.
And I found these things, I don't even know where I found them, but they just kind of fold in. Whoop. And then I just kind of fold them out of the way when I'm not.
So it's killing you right now with this cold weather. I have doors on, trapped.
Yeah, I just want to take all the doors and tops off.
70s coming next week, and we're all getting naked. We're not making it weird, but we're all getting naked next week with our Jeeps. So what else do we have here in the parking lot? We got a cool classic TJ as well.
Hey Warren, come over and introduce your
Yeah, you got to come talk about this. I think people are going to love this more than the other two. So what do we got here?
So this is an 03 Jeep Wrangler 4.0 engine. So the TJ with about 175,000 miles on it, still going strong. That's about all I know about it.
It's beautiful. We were talking before we started shooting, and I think that the vote would be, if you had to pick one to take off the lot here today, it would be this one.
It is fun to drive.
Yeah, it's just got that classic Jeep feel to it.
And keeps on trucking.
How many miles is on it?
About 175.
Any issues, or just keeps on rolling?
The normal stuff, replacing sensors here or there, but nothing you can't handle. And, all like $100 here or there.
Yeah. Just empty every pocket. That's what they say when they get a Jeep.
Exactly.
So it's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
And then we got mine currently in progress. You
got some new kicks on there.
Yeah, had to go 40s. I couldn't come to a video shoot with Cliff on 40s without me having 40s. So I had to do it last night before we did this. But so far so good. Got some rubbing issues that we're gonna correct through the weekend. Just getting it ready for Windrock, and then also going to Moab in April. So be a whole different terrain out there.
Oh yeah. So. Well, you'll like being able to let some of the air out of those tires too.
Oh yeah, It's nice. Bead locks, you can go as low as you want.
Yeah.
Well, cool guys. Well, I appreciate y'all partnering with us at Tampa Bay Jeep Club. It's been already fun, and we've only 2 or 3 months into it. We got a huge calendar year, so looking forward to all the things that we can do together. And again, just appreciate y'all's support.
Awesome, man. Cool.
See you on the trail.